It's Sunday morning. I'm a little bit hungover. I think I've just been ghosted for the first time, which is fun and an experience. I accept the ghosting. What else is new? I just ate 2 turkey burgers with mustard. And yeah, it's Easter Sunday and I'm filming a YouTube video. I'm literally filming this. I'm going to edit it and put it up on the same day. I feel like YouTubers do that, but I usually try to be ahead of the game, so I'm not filming hungover on a Sunday. Anyways, what do I like to do when I'm hungover? I like to watch YouTube. And a lot of people have been sending me the Studio Ashby, well, her name is Sophie Ashby, her house tour on House and Garden. So I thought we would take a look at it today because I haven't watched it yet. And I just feel like I'm going to like it because when people send me something a bunch that I'm either going to love or hate, I know I got to check it out. So yeah, if you're hungover, go grab your water and let's watch TV together or YouTube of Sophie Ashby's home, Georgian home on House and Garden. By the way, Sophie Ashby is an interior designer. She started the interior design company called Studio Ashby. And I follow them on Instagram. They have cool style. And just by a little glimpse of this house, I do know I'm going to love it. So here we go.
Decorating a rental has just been liberating because I didn't have to worry about the architectural framework of the property. I walked in the door when we came to have a look at it and I just couldn't believe my eyes that there's something like this was available to rent.
I agree. Decorating a rental can sometimes be easier, but it also has a lot of design restrictions. As you may know, I owned my place in Chicago, so when I was putting it together, I was making a lot of renovations on it. But the next place I get, I'm most likely going to rent. So I'll probably show that process here on the YouTubes.
This was the once home of Jocasta Innes. She lived here for about 30 years. She wrote lots of books and she wrote them here. And she was a decorator, a cook.
Sophie's use of color is a lot different than what you normally see, which I absolutely love. She uses a lot of really bright yellows. She uses like the primary palette, but then she has like some muted colors as well. I mean, we haven't even really seen the whole thing, but just from those little snippets, I'm into her use of color.
Mum is South African and my dad is English.
It definitely makes sense now that her mom is from South Africa. I saw a lot of South African elements throughout her home. Again, just through these little snippets that we've seen. And I love that she incorporates a lot of like South African pieces, a lot of art pieces and textiles that I can already see in her home.
I had a lot of art and bought a lot more art. That's kind of, as usual with my philosophy of start with the art, that's kind of where I began. I'm quite impatient and go really fast, and so I think things that I planned to go in one place ended up somewhere else.
I absolutely love her art collection. She has an incredible art collection. It's like a mix of really cool photography and then amazing paintings. Ooh, I really like this house.
That's how I kind of like to do things. It's just about collecting things that I love and then finding a place for them to all layer in together.
That's exactly the process I kind of go about when buying art. Finding art that I just really love and then finding a place for it in my home. I find it a lot harder when you have like a specific place you need art. Instead, when you're out, maybe if something catches your eye, being like, I'm just going to get this because I love it and then find a place for it later.
This is my office where I spend so much time, particularly during the pandemic. I was here every day, all day, late into the night, but it was such a special, gorgeous room.
I love her office. I love everything. I absolutely love the shelves that she actually didn't paint them herself. When she rented the place, they were already like that. But I love that she kept them. I'm very inspired to paint a shelving unit that I don't have. So if you have shelves and want to add some character to your room, maybe consider the black and yellow.
This is a piece by Aniko Moster. She's a young, emerging South African artist. I bought this first and I pulled all of the colours out for the room.
I also really love the idea of having a really unique piece of art that you maybe love and then designing your room around it with like the color palette, especially if it's such a focal point. She's got really amazing techniques when it comes to interior design. And she is an interior designer, so we will listen to her.
Swivel, as you can see, and they are upholstered in an amazing flame-stitched Fadini Borghi fabric from Piefre.
I think the chairs are really cool, but I don't know, they're really tiny. Like, look at her sitting in that. Like, maybe they're just more for show to look at, but I don't know. I think I would want a chair that is comfortable. I don't know.
The desk chair is a bit of a joke because my mother loves leopard print and it's a very Marmite pattern.
I don't mind one touch of leopard print. Like one chair, maybe. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do like one little touch if you do it right. The whole office is so great. The color palette, it feels so cozy. I love her sofa. I think it's like a dark green. Is it a dark green? And she does have some poofs. And if you watched, I forget what video it was. I don't know. Something where I talk about where I don't like poofs. But I do say they are good if you have like a cool fabric on them, which she obviously does. And I feel like that wouldn't be terribly expensive to reupholster if you have some really basic poofs that you got from Home Goods. Go get them reupholstered in a cool fabric. I don't know. I like everything. I really do love this room. I guess for me, I like to have a really large work desk. I'm not into like really small workspaces, but I mean, she might be fine. And I do love that lamp on her desk. Really good.
In the sitting room, I wanted to start with this artwork. This was in our old flat and it had pride of place. It was the focal point of the room and I put it above the fireplace. I knew I wanted it to go there. And then I extracted the yellow from his hat.
I really love that idea of building a room around a really large piece of art, but then everything else kind of just buying things as you like it and then finding a space for it later. I really like her technique in art buying.
Sustainability is something that I'm really passionate about and trying very hard to incorporate, particularly in my own home where I had the freedom to experiment. This coffee table is by Dirk van der Kooi and it's actually made of recycled fridges.
You know I'm all about that. Antiques, vintage, refurbishing, reupholstering. She has such unique style that I haven't really seen before. I absolutely love the shape of the couch. I don't know if I, in particular, would have a bright yellow couch. I don't know. I do like it. I do really love it. There's a lot of stuff in this room that I like.
This is Wooly the sheep, and he is Rainbow's very best friend and pet.
I don't know how I really feel about that sheep. It's fine. It's fun. But if you take a look at the view of this room, there's so many elements that I absolutely love. I like that she didn't put her TV above the fireplace. I think anytime you can avoid that, the better. And I really love the little plant and planter in the corner, the orange little light. Her pops of neon, which you know I love, are amazing. I'm into this entire room. The sconces on each side of this art, so good. I bet she got them off First Dibs or something. I bet she got a lot of this from First Dibs, I assume.
The kitchen was one of the things that just really sold the house for me. The amazing original brick flooring, the cabinetry.
I feel like she definitely won the lottery in finding a place that she's renting that has all of this amazing character. I mean, it's definitely possible, but this is pretty incredible.
Something that was going to be golden and kind of reflect the light. And then the chairs, I just chose the fabric based on the screen.
Okay, so in the end, art comes first, and then you build your room around it. We've repeated this a million times, but that's what she does, and I absolutely love that idea if I could afford really expensive art, especially really big art. She has a lot of large art pieces, which is obviously ideal, but large art is expensive. But again, you see a lot of these South African textiles and just elements that she probably grew up around, and it just makes her space feel really personable and like we're like really in someone's own home. Whereas I feel like a lot of these home tours that I review, it doesn't really fully connect.
This door leads to the pantry, which is about the coolest thing to do with this house. We put all of our dry goods and machines and ugly things in there, and it's just amazing extra storage.
Okay, my parents actually have a door to their pantry that's kind of hidden. It looks like, this is it. And when you open it, there's a pantry. And my parents recently bought this place in Chicago, and the people before them, you can tell this was like a project of theirs. They probably like thrifted this door or mirror thing and replaced it. And I think that's such a good idea for an area that maybe has an ugly door, or it's an area that you could do something more fun, like a hall closet or a pantry or your laundry room. Putting something different or just a unique door there, because why not? It's kind of easy, and I feel like you could thrift that. So go do that.
I started with this artwork, which is by Lakina Ogonbanwo, who's a fashion photographer from Nigeria.
Another artwork she started with, and I do like the artwork. I wouldn't say I absolutely love this room, but I'm just not that into pink. So maybe that will grow on me. But I really love the mirror that's above the fireplace. And again, renting a place with that type of fireplace is, you're lucky. You're very lucky. I also really love the trim and the door color. The bottom thick trim is like a gray green, and then the door and like thinner trim is like a lighter gray green. I wonder if they did that or not, but I really love it. I feel like painting trim sometimes can help warmthen up a space.
This is Rainbow's canopy bed.
I actually think it's so cute to have a little canopy bed for your kid, but I think I'm a little bit scarred by Cara Delevingne's home with that red stripe. Maybe I would have done just a different color than the red and white. I mean, it's fun and circus and childlike, but I'm scarred by Cara Delevingne's.
Every room has a fireplace, actually, pretty much.
That is so adorable to put those little tiles. That's such a good idea to tile the inside of a fireplace, especially if it doesn't work. So all of you who have fireplaces that don't work, tile the inside with like a fun pattern tile. I love that. Her little kid room is adorable. This is exactly how I would want my kid's room. Like tons of art, tons of color, fun elements to play in. It's the way to go.
We didn't know what we were having, boy or girl, so I designed the room with that in mind.
Another adorable baby room. I wouldn't say that color isn't something I've seen before, but that's such an adorable baby room. And adding in the pops of like oranges and patterns, and she does her kids' rooms really nicely in the way that there's a lot of color and fun aspects to it, but it's not overwhelming, because you don't want it to become overwhelming. You got to have that nice balance.
The dressing room is definitely one of my favorite places in the house. It feels like the ultimate luxury, and one I'm not sure I'll ever have again, so I luxuriate in it. It all kind of started with this vintage kimono that I bought in Japan on my honeymoon.
Okay, so now instead of starting with a piece of art, we're starting with a vintage kimono. I love this idea. Like, find an item that you're inspired by and then design your room around it. I feel like, especially if you're stumped with how to get started with designing a space, maybe take Sophie Ashby's approach and find one cool piece of art or a piece of clothing, or maybe it's an old vintage chair, or, any objects that you love, and then kind of take pieces from it and build your space around it. So I really do love her approach, and I Love this dressing room with the pink. I do like the pink and the yellow on her cabinets and the handles on the cabinets and the bright yellow little chair. She knows how to do color. She also has a lot of Asian elements as well in here, including the pendant chandelier. And then she has the Chinese chinoiserie fabric on this chair. This room has a lot of Asian aspects that I really love. And you see them throughout her house as well.
These are actually IKEA wardrobes, which I had spray painted in a beautiful colour called Pollen by Atelier Ellis. Just feel like the glamness of those mixed with IKEA is just the perfect balance.
Okay, IKEA, yes, you know I've always been a huge fan of IKEA, and I had a lot of IKEA stuff in my old place, and I've talked about it before, buying IKEA and transforming it into something more unique and custom. It's so easy, and look how good those cabinets turned out. And then she just replaced the knobs, which I've said before.
We spend so much time in here as a family. Bath time for the kids.
Just take a look at the colors in this bathroom. How she incorporates color is exactly what I try to achieve. Like, she has like a little burgundy purple in the bathtub, which pulls in with some of the art, and then she has these pops of like red tones, but everything else is neutral. So this is a really good house, or at least this room is a great example of how to incorporate color, especially if you're scared. You just do it in like little pieces.
And I really wanted it to feel like a room rather than a bathroom because it's so big that, yeah, I decided to just put furniture and artwork in here, basically.
Also, when I suggested to add artwork to your bathroom, I had a lot of comments being like, don't do this because of the water or whatever, the humidity. I feel like I've never had an issue with that. Maybe she has everything professionally framed, but I feel like I've never had an issue with having art in my bathroom. Like, I'm not gonna not have art in my bathroom.
It's been a place that's worked so hard for us and just been the most amazing backdrop for us to kind of live our lives.
Okay. Well, Sophie Ashby's home is amazing. It's really, really good. Of course, she's being featured on House and Garden because they always find the best people. I really, really loved her home, though. I think I even like it more than Matilda Gode's. Not that we have to, like, pin them against each other. They're different styles. But I really liked Sophie Ashby's home. I really can't stop thinking about the color they painted all the trim in the house. That is such a good color. Her use of color, her art, the way she designs her rooms, not being scared of adding in, like, fun patterns and textiles. And of course, she just seems like a sweet person also. And she rents, which is just kind of fun to see homes of, again, just like real people who rent, people who live in smaller places. Not that this place was small, but you get what I'm saying. Now I'm excited to design my future place that I'm going to rent most likely. So stay tuned for those videos. They won't be coming till the summer, but I guess overall, we're in a good mood today because we watched good interior design. And now I'm going to go lay on my couch, and I think I'm going to watch that new Netflix show. What's it called? It's like where the couples come in, and I don't remember. I'm a little brain fried. We're going to sit on the couch. We're going to watch this Netflix show. I'm probably going to order takeout tonight, and then I'm going to ponder about why one gets ghosted and what is the meaning behind that. I just find it fascinating now that I'm in the dating world. What causes one to get ghosted? All right, this has nothing to do with anything. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Sophie Ashby, I love your house, and you cured my hangover just slightly. All right, bye.